If you marry for money, you'll earn it. Have you ever heard that before? It is an old and popular saying for a reason. If you marry for money, you'll earn it. A very wise woman who's married to a very successful man, but she's equally successful in her own right. They're both very good-looking people. They're perfectly matched, is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, she just has a great personality, and she's a little older than me, so she gives great wisdom. She said, well, he works 9 to 5, and she works 5 to 9. So she's working more hours. And I was like, oh, wow, that's so true. That is so true, okay? And a little background about me. I said no to marrying someone who you could say was for money. But no, it wasn't for money. I mean, he was tall, good looking, blah, blah, the things that you would think that someone would want. But he was lacking something, and I felt like I couldn't really respect him. And it wasn't going to be a marriage that was going to last without respect, so I said no. But so many people, so many women I knew told me just marry him or marry someone, marry anyone. It's better to be divorced than to be not married. That I absolutely think is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. So give me your opinion on that. Is it better at a certain age to be divorced or never have been married? My mother, who's in her 70s, she would say that she only wants somebody who's a widower, not somebody who's divorced, because that means that they failed in some way in their marriage and it's likely their fault. I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't really know how to think about that. And can I speak to that without having been married? However, another wise woman, I'm surrounded by very smart women, as you can tell. She's very Southern, and she told me, I was like, well, what about this guy? What about this guy? She was like, hear me now. I'm going to do her Southern accent if I can. The reason that man is divorced is because some woman somewhere did not want him. You've got to figure out why that woman did not want him. I was like, oh, I think she could be right. She could be right. I don't know. Apparently, most divorces are, statistically, it's the woman who leaves. And I definitely have been on a date with a guy I was looking for a guy with a sailboat. That was one of my things that I kind of wanted. So I met this guy. You know how you manifest or whatever. I asked the universe, but I asked to meet somebody who was tall, good looking, shaggy hair, well off, and had a sailboat. So I meet this guy who has a beautiful catamaran, amazing boat, and is very well off. And he has long, shaggy hair, and he seems fun. But then he starts telling me about his life, and he starts telling me about his ex-wife leaving him when her children were really small. Like he had a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 3-year-old or something, and she divorced him without having a career or anything. And so I thought, this guy has got to be bad news for a woman not to put up with him at least until the kids are a little older and she has the time to get a career or something, you know what I mean? I was like, warning, warning. So I never saw him again. He was so confused by that. But the topic I want to say is, I'm talking about who has it better. A trophy wife, and I've known a lot of them, a lot of trophy wives. I've known so many trophy wives. These are women who just really, 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 really don't like to work. They do not like to work. And they will do a lot not to work. A lot. Okay, so, and some of them are not even trophies. That's always funny, but that doesn't tend to work out, because of a trophy wife who doesn't bring that much to the table of her own she eventually will be replaced by another trophy wife who brings a little more in ways of, it could be fun, entertainment, it could be more mental stimulation, it could be whatever. But so, I mean, it is a job being a trophy wife. It is a job. It is not like that easy to keep someone when they're making all the money and you're saying, hey, I need to go get my hair done. Is that okay? Hey, I need to, whatever. You know, all the things they have to ask for their allowance. It sounds bad to me. It sounds bad. But some people do it. And I think that some of them think of it as they have status, but the idea of what constitutes status has been really changing for a while now. What we admire and think is important is not the same as it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago at all. So, you know, no one's really that impressed by a woman who belongs to several country clubs, but her husband looks like a troll and he cheats on her. Not impressive, right? What's impressive is people who are living fulfilling lives, and it's really impressive when somebody's with someone who makes them happy and someone who they're equal partner with, essentially part of a team. So and I don't mean that the woman has to work and make the same amount of money to be an equal part of the team. There are women who are the brains of the operation and they're with a very successful man, but they are making all the decisions. They're making money decisions. They're telling him what he should do to get along with this one, do this deal, blah, blah. They are the brains. Those women, and the man knows when he's got that kind of woman, it might look like she doesn't have a job, but she has a job. She is the wind beneath his wings. And behind every great man, they say, is a great woman. Not every great man, but sometimes. And when you see it, that's not a trophy wife. That is a engineer. That is a muse. That woman is making that man successful. And I need to do another video on that, about men who are just semi-successful and then they meet a woman who's that type of woman and how they explode with success when they're with her, because that happens quite a bit. Okay, but for today's topic, let me get back to it. We're going to talk about, we're going to talk about hookers. Can I say the word whore? I can say that word on YouTube. It's not a nice word. W-H-O-R-E. It's not a nice word. Hookers. Call girls. Escorts. Okay. I'm going to say 3 things that come to mind for me as to why they have it easier than a trophy wife. Okay. Number 1. They work less hours. That trophy wife, like my very wise friend said, he works 9 to 5, she works 5 to 9. And weekends, she's always at work, pleasing him, singing for her supper, essentially, singing for her country club membership, singing for her new dress so she could make her friends think that she's living a great life. Because that keeping up with the Jones and trophy wife definitely goes together. These are people who are definitely more on the insecure side, who want to look successful, but are not willing to do the work that it takes to really be successful, which is self-actualization. Okay, so a hooker gets to go home. A hooker does not have to sleep next to a hairy, snoring, farting man that they don't want to have sex with at all, don't find interesting at all, and are married to. The hooker, she goes in, she laughs at his jokes, she gets the boom boom going, gets it finished as quickly as possible, and she leaves. And even those ones that are like, I don't know, I'm obsessed with the idea of how hookers and escorts operate, because I think it's sort of, it's an interesting sort of relationship. Shame, I'm so picky. Shame, shame. But anyway, um, the hookers, even the ones that are with the guy for a weekend, they're there for a couple of days with the guy. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. So they're making it fun, telling him anything he wants to hear. Then they get to go home and don't have to see him again ever if they don't want to. Actually, yeah. So I think that's one way that hookers have it easier than trophy wives. Trophy wives are stuck there, and their whole livelihood, their whole lifestyle, all of it is dependent upon this guy who they were never that attracted to in the first place. They won't tell you that. They'll say, I just met him and I just thought you're my person. And you're like, you didn't think that. You thought this guy will support me and I won't have to work. That's what you thought. Okay. Their reward, which is coming soon, a tangible reward as inspiration for their acting. So a trophy wife, for example, her tangible reward is sort of vague and uncertain in a sense, because at any time he could just replace her with another trophy wife, right? But an escort, a professional, she has her tangible reward that is agreed upon, and it's right there in her future. So that is her inspiration to act. She's acting. She's an actress. And I mean, I guess you could say that when someone's acting, just like when you're mentally rehearsing for a sport in your mind or something like that, all of those neurotransmitters are firing. So there is some truth that's happening in acting, but the tangible reward is right there and very specific. And so she's like, okay, I have my, I don't know, I'm going to throw out a number. Let's say 10 grand coming after this, 24 hours or whatever it is. And I'm going to just make this the most fun he's ever had. And then I'll get my reward and I'll be gone. The trophy wife does not have that certain tangible reward. She has, I hope he keeps me in this lifestyle, and I'm going to make the best of it, and I'm going to pretend I'm interested in having sex with him. The professional probably is more interested in having sex with him and doing it well because of the novelty, and she doesn't have to think about doing it again tomorrow, the next day, the day after, 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 the day after. Years later, he's not getting any more attractive and he's not getting any less hairy. Hairy can be sexy, actually. I'm just kidding about that. Okay, number 3. Her ability to spend money on whatever she wants. A hooker, an escort, a professional. When she wants to get her hair done, she goes and gets her hair done. When she wants to get some Botox, she goes and gets it. When she wants a new car, she goes and gets one. She doesn't have to think about these things. She doesn't have to ask anyone. She wants a new couch and she wants a white one. She wants a pink one. Pink. She can just go buy it. The trophy wife, no. The husband, he's going to pick the car that she drives. She's going to like it and act grateful and smile. Oh yes, I love it. No, I didn't want a Range Rover. I love a Lincoln. Exactly what I wanted. Oh, I love a Kia. Exactly what I wanted. See, she's got to act excited about whatever scraps she may end up with. Now, the hooker, she goes and gets her little convertible. Very impractical, but it's what she wants, and no one's telling her not to do it. So she has the ability to spend her money on whatever she wants. She doesn't have to ask permission. And she really doesn't have to ask permission about anything to do with her time, anything to do with her appearance, anything to do with anything, who she hangs out with. She doesn't need to explain, I'm going to be here from this time to time, blah, blah, blah. I'll do this, I'll do that. None of that. That's not in her life. So, a movie that started my fascination with the professional women was an Ed Burns film. It's called She's the One with Cameron Diaz. Cameron Diaz was so gorgeous. Side note. Oh my God. those eyes, those lips. She's just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful woman. And by the way, Cameron Diaz just had a baby at 51. She's still beautiful, still amazing. You can really tell whether a woman's truly beautiful by how she ages. Because everyone's beautiful when they're like 18, right? And everyone's beautiful when they're 20. 30, truth starts coming out. 40, the truth is out. 50, yes. There are women who are never going to stop being beautiful. And by the way, I think beauty is absolutely a choice. I think anyone can be beautiful, especially in this day and age. It's really a choice. A quote I heard that was so funny? It said, "There's no such thing as ugly women, only lazy women." I mean, that is harsh, and I don't know if that's true, but I do think that beauty is a choice. And if you want to be beautiful, you'll be beautiful because it comes from the inside, and it comes from sort of like caring enough about yourself to feel good about yourself and do those things. Anyway, so I hope I have you convinced after this little talk that it might be better to be a professional than to be a trophy wife. Unless you are the engineer, the muse, in which case you are not a trophy wife. You are the wind beneath his wings. That means you got to be very smart and not a trophy. Trophy is defined by a woman who spends a lot of her time trying to look good, and she probably has natural beauty to begin with anyway, but she's definitely like always trying to look as good as she can and present herself in the correct way to land a meal ticket, meaning a guy who is going to allow her to stay home so she doesn't have to work. That is the definition of trophy. And often she's going to be with somebody who is significantly less attractive than she is, and who she's not really attracted to. How do I know this? I've known a lot of trophy wives, and they have told me the truth about how they feel about their husbands. They're not attracted to them. Which is why I go back to, it kind of seems easier for the professionals than the trophy wives. Maybe I'm wrong. Could be. But it's fun to think about, isn't it? Maybe in another life. I'll find out. I'll find out. Because as of right now, I have no experience with being either of those things, to be honest. But I do know a lot of trophy wives, and I've known some people who've had sugar daddies. So, yeah, I know a little bit from people telling me. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been entertaining and informative. And please let me know any subjects that you're most interested in that involve dating younger men, where to meet men, how to tell if you like him right away, how to tell if he likes you right away, all that stuff. Just ask. Thank you for watching, and have an amazing day. You're worth it. Like, subscribe, comment, please, and share. Thank you. Bye.